Well, I ended up buying a new lower unit. Well, remanufactured lower unit. So we got it in the box. I mean, $4,000 lower unit, and they just drop it off at the porch. You ain't got to sign for it or anything. Kind of weird. We're gonna unbox this and make sure it's not damaged, and yeah, that's where I'm at.
Well, don't you want to take this outside instead of doing it in here on this nice hardwood floor?
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know.
Lower unit unboxing. Here we go. Right?
Yeah. I don't know what here. Looks like we just lifted out of here.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Let me get a good. This is how it was shipped. Got a flashlight, Jeff?
Not on me.
I think I got one over there sitting on the. There's one sitting on the coffee table, I think. Or there was, but I don't know what I did with it. Maybe on the kitchen table.
I mean, it does look clean. Just... Whoa.
Easy there.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hey, check this out, guys, while I'm here. That's one of my dad's square bills. Well, Jeff's dad too. Duh.
Old balsa wood.
Yeah, that's a, what is that? That's a Rebel. We Are. And it's an old one. I mean, it's like from the 80s. You know. So, that dude right there stays right on that lamp right there. It's just an ornament.
Figure out where to put it.
Well, just get the box out of the way first. I just lean it somewhere and get, or lay it on top of the box, heck. Do something.
Do something?
Yeah.
I guess we don't know what we're doing here.
No, we're lost like last year's Easter egg.
Anyway.
So there's the lower unit.
New anodes, everything. Well, so what it is, can't rebuild them. Well, you can try, but
Well, I think the main thing, from what I understood, is those gear cases expand and contract over time. And if you want to rebuild them,
well, they get hot. They
yeah, and
expand or
you gotta shim those gears in there. Well, you can no longer go by the specs because your gear case has changed.
Yeah, that's true. And the fact that you got 4 different locations for shims, so oh, good luck.
Right. So even if
If you've never done one
long
before,
story,
you don't want to do it.
yeah, long story short, you can rebuild them, but you're in all probability going to have problems with it. So you may as well spend $4,000 and then complain about spending $4,000.
It's an expensive deal there. Because there ain't nobody, none of the boat dealers are gonna rebuild them. They just have too much liability. So anyway, there's what I had to do.
But it's all brand new, you know, all new gearing.
All brand new innards.
Man, you know, at least now you know what you got on your motor.
Yeah.
You know, that's the good thing about it. You know, you don't have a a goofy lower unit, you know.
Yeah. This is it's a Torque Master Gen1. It came off of my boat. It's not for customers. It's my personal lower unit. So this came off of a 2013 Mercury ProXS. It's a 250 ProXS, 250 horsepower. Torque Master Gen1. So the problem I'm having is that the gears got chewed up, which I have the tool. It's laying over there to get the bearing carrier nut off and bearing carrier out, and I've got it sitting up here and it's all chewed up. Well, this, first of all, I want to say when I pulled this out, you know, I was kind of, you always get confused, but this is your reverse gear. So I might have said, for some reason I thought that. So this one is not terrible, but there's some places. There's some chips right there, and then the gear teeth have a lot of wear on them, and you know, so when they're machined, this is where it would lock into the hub, into the clutch hub, and then spin this shaft, spin it backwards. This is a reverse gear. I've got the O-ring off of it right now, and when I spin this, I mean, it's, the bearing seems pretty bad. It's not really turning. I don't know if I can do it with one hand. Yeah, see, like, it's not even hard to turn. It will turn, but it's kind of weird. Anyway, I don't know if I have a light. Yes, I do. Probably can't see it very well, I'm sure, but there's quite a few teeth that have been chewed up on the forward gear, and that's your forward gear in the front, and then you got the pinion gear on the bottom, which I'm trying to show, but I've got, anyway, you should be able to see that, I think. I don't know. Anyway, that pinion gear is bad. So it's got chunks, teeth missing. So what do? My first inclination was to get the tools and rebuild this. But I've never done a gear housing this big before, and I just wasn't sure what to do. So I went and talked to some people. I called a guy here locally that I've never really met, but I thought I'd talk to him. And he was kind of like, oh, that gear case gives me shivers. And I was kind of like, oh man, you know, but it was a good conversation. Then I went to our local marine dealer, one of them, and you know, I won't say which one, just because, but I'll tell you what he told me. So he told me that in 2015, Mercury was regulated by the EPA, so they had to make some EPA changes. And in doing so, they lost a little bit of performance out of their engine. And of course, you know, people have had these, and so you put out a 2015 model, and then suddenly your guys that have these other, you know, ProXSs, they get their certain performance, and then, you know, the word gets around, hey, these aren't as good as the other ones. So what Mercury did, since they had to do this, was they came out with Torque Master Gen 2 So they made the changes in the lower unit so that they could get a little more speed. So if you've seen any of the old Mercury racing lower units that look real kind of almost like a bullet on the front, those were designed that way so that they get speed out of them. And then they mess with gear ratios and things. So my 2013 model, he said, is really a really good engine, but you know, they didn't have to, you know, it's got more power is basically what he said. So he was like, I would rebuild it because it costs more to rebuild it than to just get a remanufactured one. So I came home looking at that. You know, that's an expensive deal. You know, taxes and maybe core charges. I mean, you know, it could be close to $5 grand, $5K. That's a very expensive investment on a somewhat older engine. And I'm a little like, I'm not sure about that. So I'm investigating that. You can come along for the ride, try to figure out what to do here. What to do here? You know, what do I do? Do I go get another? I could get a used. Here's my options. I could get a used lower unit, and of course you don't know what condition it's in, and it could fail too. And then you're out that, you know, I mean, there's still going to be a couple $1,000s. So the remanufactured ones do come with a 1-year warranty. And I saw one location that had, for an extra $500, you could get another year. So you get a 2-year warranty out of it. Then, you know, there's different manufacturers. So if you get it from Mercury, it costs more. OEM from the factory is going to be about $3,000 more than a remanufactured one. So seems like a lot of money. I wouldn't want to do that. A remanufactured one, you know. So rebuilding it. The problem with rebuilding it is that there are shims in the drive shaft, and you have to check to make sure the backlash on that is a certain tolerance. And then I thought that there was 3 locations, and the dealer told me that there's actually 4. So the dealers what I'm kind of getting information wise is, I don't think that most of the dealers rebuild them. I think there's too much liability in it that if it fails, then they got to go back and do all the work again, and it costs a lot for the gear set. So I've seen the gear set as low as like a Quicksilver gear set for like $375, and then I've seen it go all the way up to, you know, almost $900. I've kind of the middle of the road is like $550, $560, and then you're gonna have to replace all the seals. So there's another $100. There's bearings, tapered roller bearings. There's races. I'm trying to think of what else. So you would have to replace all of that stuff. So even in parts, it's probably close to maybe $1,500. I don't know if that includes tax or not. It's quite a bit of money. So because you have to check the backlash, and you have to buy it. You can't just buy a few tools. You're going to have to get Like, you're gonna have to get the bearing wrench, the bearing carrier nut. You gotta use a wrench to get that off. You gotta have another wrench to get the drive shaft retainer. It's like a retainer nut. You gotta get that off. You gotta have that. You really need to have the drive shaft. There's a tool that goes on top so that you can turn it with a wrench, a torque wrench. There's another tool to put inside the housing that, you know, and so then there's some other tools, pullers, you know, race installers, bearing installers. I mean, you could well have, I'd say, I mean, you could have $800 to $1,000 in just tools. I guess if you were doing this a lot, then you would get the tools, but most of the dealers don't do it, and probably most of the shops don't do it, simply because they would have to then, you know, do some sort of warranty, you know, or it's kind of a political thing too, because you don't want somebody saying, man, I repaired my lower unit, I took it out within a month, it was destroyed again, and now I'm out that same amount of money. So I'm looking right now for a remanufactured Torque Master Gen1, and I'm just trying to see what my best options are, and I still am just I'm in a research mode, discovery mode, to try to figure out what I got to do. So if this happens to you, then maybe hopefully it'll help you, because then you won't have to do as much work as I did, and you'll have a little bit more information, because there's not a lot on this, even on YouTube or on the web, or you know, as Terrell says, the interscreen. So I guess thanks for watching, and I'll keep you guys updated on some of the progress and figure out what I gotta do.